Well, hi there, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And yeah, happy Memorial Day weekend thing. I hope I have the right holiday. But yeah, tonight we're going to start talking about a few movies. And we're going to begin with this little home invasion kind of sort of slasher called The Rental. Now, The Rental stars Jeremy Allen White. Did I get that right? Yeah, I did. Okay. Jeremy Allen White, Dan Stevens, Alison Brie, and Sheila Vand. And yeah, I love this movie. I think it was beautifully well done. This movie was released in 2020, directed by Dave Franco and written by Dave Franco and Joe Swanberg and Mike Dembski. And yeah, so we are going to talk about this little movie and see what it's all about. Now, if you haven't seen this, you really should. It's really good. It gives me real Your Next vibes, but in a different way. So, the movie opens with Charlie and Mina looking through rentals online to try to find one of those kind of B&Bs, Airbnbs, where they're going to have a weekend getaway for them and their prospective mates, partners. Um, Charlie and Michelle are married, and Josh and Nina are dating. Charlie and Josh are also brothers. So, yeah, they're looking for these rental places. They determine this one. Uh, Mina is kind of touchy about things, and she is a little upset because, like, an hour before he made the reservation, she attempted to make the reservation and was denied, a girl. But he, a man, a white man, was given the rental. So she already had that kind of like under her irritation craw, as it would. So they all agree and they, head out there, and we're kind of introduced to them as they go and start learning a little bit about them. They arrive at the place where they are met by Taylor. Now, Taylor is not the owner. He is supposedly the brother of the owner. And he lets them in. There's a little tension there because Mina is already hot. I'm not really sure what race she is. Um, Maybe Indian, as in India. Um, but I don't know. But so she confronts him, which is like, you can already tell that she's going to be the bitch of the bunch because, I mean, you've only got a weekend. You should call it out whenever you can, but just, I don't know. I kind of think if I was just there for a weekend, I wouldn't be so hot to create a confrontational atmosphere. There's just sometimes I let things blow by because I'm more interested in what fun we're supposed to have instead of, deciding to cause a problem. So they get in and they, look through the place, and it's very nice, and look like they're going to have, it's a beautiful house with a big deck and a hot tub and all this kind of stuff. So they look like they're going to have a pretty good time at this place. um, they kind of investigate, and I guess Josh finds this like basement door with a keypad lock, which I guess would be strange to anyone, but then again, I'm not a big bed in bed bed and breakfast kind of users. So I don't know exactly how those places are set up. I'm sure there would be some areas where the owner kept stuff, but um, that was sort of a little foreboding, you know. And so we have our settling in time of the movie where we get to know these characters. They go out and enjoy the beach, seem to be having a good time, and we find out that Josh, I guess he's been a troublemaker. He's kind of on probation or parole. He's been in trouble in the past. He's kind of can't believe that this Mina person is interested in him, so he has a little insecurity about that, and we, learn that. We then find out that evening that Michelle had brought a little supply of MDNA and wants to party with that. Um, so they all decide that they'll have ecstasy and dance around the living room for a while, except for her. She's the one who brought it, but she doesn't do it that night because she's all tired and she wants to go hiking the next day. So just Josh and Mina and Charlie take the MDNA, and then they go. They have fun throughout the night, being MDNA silly, I guess you would call it. Josh ends up like passing out on the couch, and Mina and Charlie end up in the tub. They are co-workers, by the way. So they end up, going into the hot tub together, where they just can't resist and end up kissing each other. They get interrupted by the dog, who comes running out of the woods, barking. It kind of spooks them a little bit, so they decide to go into the house, fearing that they may be being watched. And that's when they end up cheating. They end up going into the shower and having sex. It's like, you just couldn't resist, And don't be blaming MDNA either. Y'all just can't stop, can you? You just can't stop. So they, here they have done that. So now they've literally already ruined the weekend, in my opinion, because you're going to have these negative, dark thoughts about what you've done, and who's not going to notice that? I know I certainly would. So, once they've done that, they have a little discussion the next morning, because Michelle and Josh Josh was passed out, and Michelle didn't do any ecstasy. So Mina and Charlie, feeling all guilty and stuff, they don't want to go on the hike. So just Michelle and Josh go on the hike, leaving Mina and Charlie to sit and commiserate with each other about what a mistake they made, how that was wrong, they shouldn't do that again, duh. And, hopefully we'll just let it go at that. Plus they were hungover as hell. That's when Mina decides that she's going to go and take a shower. At which point she finds a hidden camera in the shower head. Which, even if you have lived at your home for a long time, will definitely make you at least look once. Just for the hell of it. But, so, she goes and tells Charlie about this camera that she found in the shower. Now, of course, they and we are thinking that it's Taylor, After all, he is the one who rented the place, despite him just saying it's his brother's establishment. They don't really know what to do, because they could speak, they could speak about it, but what if the feed is somewhere in here in the house? They're really torn, because if they tell Josh and Michelle about it, then they could find out about what they did in the shower, because you can imagine why they're freaking out. They are freaking out because they were banging in the shower and she found a camera. So whoever has this camera knows what they did. So it leaves them a little up in the air as to what, to do about it. Meanwhile, behind their back, because Michelle, who knows nothing, now she's ready to party because she's rested up from the night. She went on her little hike. She's ready to party in the hot tub and stuff like that, but it won't work. Josh doesn't know anything is going on. So he's called Taylor to come and fix the hot tub, all while Mina and Charlie have found out about this camera. Mina, of course, cannot. I told you, she's like the bitch of this movie. She just cannot let anything go. Now, I'm not saying that finding a camera in your shower head is something worthy of letting go. But because of the extenuating circumstances, I don't think that I would have confronted Taylor about it. But she grabs him because she just can't help it. And she drags him into the bathroom, shows him the camera, and interestingly enough, he is just as stunned as she was. And he's like, what the hell is that? What are y'all doing? And he's the one who wants to call the police. And Charlie comes running in, knowing that this is going to, because he's still worried about everyone finding out what could have been filmed the night before. So he's kind of, like, all of you people would just not chill the fuck out. So the deed is done. Taylor has freaked out. In the meantime, Josh now discovers it, goes in there, beats the hell out of him, and knocks him unconscious in the bathtub. So he's knocked unconscious in the tub. And, they go out and they're all arguing, and nobody really knows, especially Charlie and Mina, because of what they did, really knows how to do something without fucking themselves up in the process. Now, this is when we get to first see the killer, and we all know that it is now not Taylor, because some black-clothed individual comes into the bathroom and kills Taylor, suffocates him in the tub because he's already unconscious. So he suffocates him in the tub, and who was it, Charlie, who goes in there to check on him? Yeah. Charlie goes back in there to check on him, only to find him dead. Now, they hadn't really checked on him prior when it all happened, so they assume that it was Josh beating the hell out of him that killed him. Now, because Josh has had a history, is, obviously would go to jail, and here comes even bigger trouble. We have the "I know what you did last summer" moment when they start bantering around the idea of getting rid of the body, hiding the body. Now, little Miss MDNA Michelle, she wants absolutely nothing to do with this. I can't believe it would even be suggested. You people are crazy, blah, blah, blah. And they convince her to just stay out of it, to go to the room, to lay down, leave it alone, and they will take care of it. In which they do. They go and end up throwing the body over a cliff, down into the ocean, which is a pretty rough scene because the body doesn't go down, and Josh has to go down there and try to do it, all to try to save him from going to jail, which I understand. Same kind of thing that they did in I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is somebody screwed up and the rest of the people are trying to keep them out of trouble. So while all of this is going on, we still continue to see this black-clad individual popping up in the house behind them every once in a while. So we know that this killer is around. Michelle takes no part And then all of a sudden, up in the upstairs bedroom, the actual sex tape from the bathroom is playing on the screen, on the TV screen. So they all start freaking out even more. Michelle, who was, up there, she is, as you would imagine, very, very upset. Not to mention, although this probably killed a lot of her buzz, she had taken a bunch of ecstasy earlier. So she gets freaked out and says, "That's it." And she goes and gets in her car and leaves them with Charlie screaming, "Oh, it'll never happen again." You know the story. It'll never happen again. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Heard it all before. So Michelle is like hauling her ass out of there when she loses control of the car and hits a tree. Now she gets out of the tree to try to figure out what the hell and sees the tire spikes like the cops used during a high-speed chase. Um, she sees tire spikes on the, across the path, and that, of course, makes her go, "What the fuck?" Now, and she goes and gets back in the car and answers Charlie's messages, because, of course, like your spouse would, they're immediately texting you going, "Sorry, sorry, please wait, don't come back, come back, come back, come back." So she answers it back and tells him, that she's down the road, the car has, um, wrecked, hit a tree, and that she needs help. So he grabs his shit and starts running down the road. Now it's nighttime. So when he gets down there to it, we then see that he can't find her. Now, when she had gotten back in the car right before she made that text, we had seen the killer attack through the window. So Charlie finds this scene. He is pinging her phone, and it's right over there somewhere. So he goes over there and he finds her body, only for us to see the killer come running and hammers him to death with a hammer. The exact hammer he had taken out of Charlie and them's car. So we are down to just Josh and Mina. The other two are very, very dead. So Josh is now learning all of this back at the house too. He gets a message on his phone with the audio between Mina and Charlie where they were discussing that morning about what they had done and how wrong it was and how sorry they were and they wouldn't do it again. So first he gets this audio and is like looking at Mina like, "What the fuck have y'all done?" You know? So he's like obviously upset. Before she can really come up with any good explanation, as if there was one, he then gets another message on his phone, and it's the actual tape. Like, the audio isn't bad enough. You want to know what the audio was about? Here, it's the tape showing Charlie and her in the shower. So he then really loses it. He, goes running through the house looking for Charlie, who we know is dead down the road. And there's this nice little jump scare where he is hammer timed by the killer as well. Mina finds Josh's body, and there ensues the final girl chase scene, which was a very good one. And she takes off down the foggy path, and just about the time, and I thought this was very cool of the director, just about the time that we thought she was going to get away with it, she just like drops through a hole, because in the dark in the fog, in her state of mind, she had just walked her ass right off the cliff. So, and that is an unsurvivable fall. So she walks her ass right off the cliff. She's gone. It's done. No survivor. This is one of the no survivors movies. So they're all dead, and we see the killer, whom they do not show his actual face, but we see him meandering around the dwelling. Um, if that was Taylor's brother, then he killed his own brother, but we don't know that. So after he does all of this, he is then shown detecking the house. Man, he had cameras everywhere and microphones everywhere. So he goes through the house, removing them from smoke detectors, vents, shower heads, all the places he had these things hidden. He goes and removes them. So he basically cleans the house, and you see the dog show back up. So I guess at least he didn't kill the dog. The dog shows back up and he pets it, and then he's just sitting there. So the screen kind of fades to black, and you see an individual, when it comes back, you see an individual come renting another establishment. This time it looks sort of like a condo, is what it looks like. And he rents another unit, and we get to see him spy teching that place out. So we see him putting cameras everywhere, and that's when we start seeing cam images of obviously another family. We see various little scenes: cooking in the kitchen, exercising in the bedroom, shaving in the bathroom, stuff like that. And the movie ends with someone sleeping in a bed, and the doors open, and then you see this blackened figure come in to the room and jump on the bed, and the screen goes black, and that's it. So the movie ends thusly. So that was The Rental. I really loved the cinematography in this movie. The way sometimes movies can have frustrating things in them that are actually they're really frustrating, but sometimes, I mean, after all, these are horror movies, okay? Why do you think the directors and all are going to be nice to you? These are not nice movies. And there's lots of horror movies that do not wrap it up in a nice little birthday box for you. They leave it to where you walk out with some frustrating things. Who was this guy? Did he really own that place, or was he just another renter, which is kind of what I believe. I don't believe that he was Taylor's brother. I believe that he had rented that place previously, just like he was now renting the condo unit. So who was he? How long has he been doing this? And please give us a sequel, because yeah, this movie is ripe for a sequel. They have got to do a sequel. It was pretty popular. It's got a 5.7, which is pretty good for a horror movie on International Movie Database. So yeah, I like it a great deal. If you've seen The Rental, tell me about it. Let me know. But it's a good part of anyone's collection, especially if you like slasher type, home invasion type. It's pretty unique. It's got a unique little feel. It pulls a little from slashers, and it pulls a little from home invasion. but it really does kind of seem to be its own little thing. So I really like that. And yeah, that was 2020's The Rental. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for stopping by and listening to me rant. I love all the actors in this movie. Josh and Charlie are both cutie pies. And so, yeah, I had a good time with this movie. Of course, we could always use a butt shot, but, not everything can be Bleed or Sleepaway Camp or The Burning. Sometimes you just don't get any TNA. Isn't that unfortunate? In any event, I love The Rental. I think you will too. Thank you for stopping by, listening to me ramble on about it. And I will see you in the next video. And always remember, you're a very, very special person. I appreciate any of you who do take the time to watch these. And I've only got about 2,000 more to go. Of course, if that really was to happen and I did do 2,000, I'd have bought in 500 more, right? By then to have to do. So this is just a never-ending thing. And there's your purpose in life. Everyone needs a purpose in life. Mine is to sit and blather on about my favorite movies and music. So there we go. The Rental 2020. Check it out, and I will see you in the next video. Wrong mouse. I will see you in the next video. Have a very good time. Keep screaming, but only when appropriate. Love you, miss you. Bye.